Welcome to episode 3 of the Not Your Average Sports Show, podcast that goes beyond the realm of traditional journalism. Today we will be discussing how college sports has changed over the years. We will critique the NIL and transfer portal, and we will provide our own alternatives to the current system. Once again, I'm Dominic Campanaro. Some kids you probably heard of a St. Joe's Prep. And now, today's guest is a current student at Syracuse University, studying at the Newhouse School of Communications. He is a fan of Philly sports, former president of WJP, and an ultimate Frisbee stud. He has covered hundreds of PCL sports games, and no, he does not play for Bayern Munich. Welcome to the show, Harry Kane. How's it going, Harry?
Man, that's a hell of an introduction. I don't think I'm going to get that good of an introduction ever again. It's great to be with you. I'm very excited.
Well, Harry, I know you haven't heard I know you probably haven't seen a lot of episodes. Obviously, there's only been 2 so far, but this one obviously is going to be a special one, talking about college sports. And right away, we got to jump in on it. Joey O'Brien, the 5-star defensive back from LaSalle College High School, committed to Notre Dame. Harry, what's your take on that?
Look, it makes sense. Notre Dame fresh off a national title performance, and the rich get richer makes a lot of sense to me. He is an excellent player, and they got a good one.
You know, he's the best in Pennsylvania for a reason, 5-star for a reason. He says he's under safety. I wouldn't be surprised if he's wide receiver as well. Obviously, the best hands in the state, the best coverage in the state, a threat to anybody else.
I remember my senior year as a sophomore, and he was top of the scouting report. Like, he's a special talent. Like, he's a good player, and he'll succeed at Notre Dame.
Absolutely. There's a reason why he's going. There's a reason why he wants to join Marcus Freeman's team, and obviously Notre Dame, after coming off of an incredible run they had last year, I know they're hoping to do the same as well this year. But
yeah, and if anything, he shows a weakness for them. Their secondary was probably the worst part of their team last year.
That's true.
Like, he's going to bolster that back end when he gets there.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what LaSalle's probably happy to see him going there. Obviously, he's been a leader for LaSalle over the past 3 years at least, and there's a reason why he's going to South Bend, and just absolutely incredible though for the kid. Even as St. Joe's Prep.
Look, anyone who commits to Notre Dame, it's an awesome feeling. It's Notre Dame. It's one of the most recognizable programs in the country. So, of course, it's great.
Yeah, as a St. Joe's Prep fans, I even appreciate it. I think that he's the best player. I will say that by far. There's no way.
You're a sports fan that way. You all can recognize greatness even when it kicks your ass every 2 games.
You're right. Yeah, and well, after that, we'll do a quick explain. Obviously, I want to touch base on that. But, again, Harry, great to be here with you. Hope you're excited for the show. Once again, today's topic, we'll go through how college sports has changed throughout the years, from playoff expansion to the addition of new schools. We'll be going through critiquing the NIL and the transfer portal, as well as providing our own alternatives at the end of the episode. We will discuss college football and college basketball, what we think about their current setup right now. So, now let's get right into it. College football. Harry, you're a freshman at a school that has a D1 football program. What do you think about the playoff expansion?
In my mind, it's a positive. I get the arguments for player safety and making them play more games is not necessarily the goal in a lot of ways. I don't love what it did to the bowl system because I think the bowl system in college football was really cool. It was unique. But I think in terms of preparing guys for an NFL level, it's great. I don't think on a fan level, it's great. Look, Syracuse had an outside shot to make the playoffs until week 11. That would have never happened in the 4-team system, ever. So, for the fans, I think it's entirely a positive.
Yeah, I think there's also a financial aspect to it as well. You're able to sell more tickets and stuff, and I think that NCAA probably appreciates that a lot. I think that's
the financial aspect is undertoning anything in sports right now. You can just you can pick any sport league in the world, and there's a financial undertone to why they do what they do. It's the same thing with the NCAA. So yeah, of course they knew they were going to make money off this move, and of course they're going to make money off this move. You set up games like Alabama against Penn State, like that's the game people want to go see.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and that's again talk about the fans like getting their money's worth too, and like it's just the media gets bigger as well, and I think it just circulates that money better and stuff.
And a lot of people were talking about like, oh, this is going to promote more blowouts. Yeah, it did a little bit in the first round, but you got past that first round this year. The games were banger after banger after banger after banger. They were not, the national championship game came down the last 2 minutes. The semifinals came down the last 2 minutes. Like, these were good football games.
Yeah, and I think that some people, I mean, I as well can even attest to it. It seemed like a take on if March Madness was a football thing, and that's what it would be like. If it makes sense with the bracket style, you had that chance for like them underdog, lower seed teams make a run for it. That's what I saw through it.
Yeah, of course. And the NCAA has seen what a success March Madness is and the cultural phenomenon that March Madness is, that we all essentially pause our lives for 2 weeks in March and let a group of 22-year-olds determine our emotional state. Like, they see what a phenomenon that is. And of course, they want to replicate it somewhere else. And football was the logical spot because it's the other biggest sport.
Yeah, again, it's the biggest in the U.S. obviously, and if you're able to expand on that one the most, there's a reason to do so. I think that, yeah, talk about that. I think more variety. I'd also note, like, I think that we get to see teams like, I don't know, SMU. Obviously, I didn't expect SMU to do much. Like Arizona State, everyone had them like not doing anything, and look at them now. Look at them now.
I mean, I think SMU is a great example of it. SMU was a dormant program. They haven't done anything in 40 years. They just made a college football playoff appearance and had a top 20 recruiting class. Like, that resurrected a program. This is the kind of impact that one playoff berth can have.
And I think that's what, as you can say, NCAA is kind of advocating for that. I appreciate that. I do.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, like I said, I think it's a net positive, and I get it from a player perspective, but I think it was about time the NCAA adopted a little bit more of an NFL-style schedule, and part of that is a playoff at the end of your regular season. That's how it is in the pros. They play 17 games, and then they play 4 more if they're lucky.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm gonna turn real quick to our Instagram. Obviously, you see down here, but you can vote on stories for polls and stuff. I did do a poll. I did say if anyone was a fan of the new system, and 12-1 supported it. So they're just sign from the fans.
I mean, again, I think it's hard when you look at the big picture not to support it in some sense. You can obviously find flaws and tweaks that need to be made, but I think globally there's good in it.
Yeah, I want to add on to talking about the rankings and stuff. The AP poll. What's your take on that? You think that schools should be ranked on that, or should it be based on like something else?
Do I think the AP poll is a good system? Like,
yes.
Again, out here, I think the AP poll is a flawed system, but I think it's always going to be a flawed system because it's people, and we have opinions, and we're not dictated by numbers. I mean, look, you could do it based on the strength of schedule indicator, but then you still need someone to make the strength of schedule indicator metrics, and it's all, like, if you really get into the nitty gritty of it, it's just where is the bias showing up? Is the bias showing up in the numbers or showing up in the voters? And I think the AP poll is cool. I actually like it. I like that humans decide on it. I like that it's not a number for a computer or ChatGPT. I appreciate that it's actual people who have to sit down and watch these football games. I think it's flawed. I think big schools get quite a nice bias in it. look, Alabama had that god-awful loss at Oklahoma, and they were still 15 the next week.
Yeah.
And Syracuse had a really bad loss to Pittsburgh, and we went from in contention to nowhere near it. Like, you can't tell me there's not a little bit of bias in that.
And like Miami too. Talk about Miami as well.
You can't tell me there's not a little bit of bias based on the fact that one team is called Syracuse and the other one's called Alabama or Miami.
I think that's what they love Bama. I feel like Bama will always be top 15 to the people.
Bama will be like that to the end of time. Nick Saban has ensured that they will probably never finish below 20 in the people ever again. And we're going to be dinosaurs, and they're going to be second in the preseason rankings. But I think it's a flawed system, but I think there's no perfect way to do it. So in that sense, I think it's the best you've got because a number just takes the humanity out of it. And part of being a sports fan and watching sports is these two things right here, the eye test.
You're right. Yeah, I actually like that. How it's like humans create it. It's not like again, you can't have like a robot really do it because a robot doesn't have like human hands.
Look, you could have a robot do it. You could say, all right, take the point differential versus teams in the top 25. Take the point differential versus teams not in the top 25. Weight them differently. Have them you could do all that kind of stuff, or you could just watch the game and say, you know what, Alabama looked better than Tennessee this week. Like, yeah, and I'm not trying to harp on Alabama here. They just come to my mind first. Like, I like the humanity of it because part of being a sports fan is watching the game and saying, wow, that guy looks really good today. And then watching next week and saying, wow, that guy looks really bad today.
Yeah. That's actually a good way to view it as well. Like how it's human. It's run by humans, and you want humans to keep on going with it.
By humans, and look, and in the college realm, it's played by people who are young and they're still learning. Like, it's almost crazy that we expect 19, 20-year-olds to be finished products in terms of being athletes when they're not even close to being finished products in terms of being people. It's kind of wild to do that. So, there's some variability in it. Yeah, this guy may look like the best football player in the country one Saturday and look like he doesn't belong on a D1 roster the next Saturday. Like, that's part of life.
Yeah, that's the line right there. It's part of life, I guess. That's how it's going to be. That's really what it is at the end of the day. Am I wrong in saying that? That's how it's going to be, right?
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
It's just how it's going to be. How it's going to be run.
Like that is just how it's going to be. It's part of why I think we all tune in and why we all love it.
All right. Yeah, that's again a great conversation there for football. Let's turn now to basketball. I mentioned it earlier. According to my poll on Instagram, people favor college basketball over college football. So I'm going to turn to you now. Being in Syracuse and upstate New York, I would think people would favor football over basketball by far, but what would be your take?
Well, here's the problem. It varies year to year, right? Like this year, I much preferred football over basketball because our football team was actually good and actually won some games. And our basketball team, I think, won 2 games at home the whole year. It wasn't fun to be a Syracuse basketball fan this year. We sucked. The most fun we had was yelling at Cooper Flag for the first 15 minutes of that game before we were down 20. We weren't good this year, but globally, I've always been a college basketball over college football guy. I love college basketball. Me and CJ Weaver used to talk about college basketball for hours, and we still do, actually.
Except Seton Hall, there's a lot of basketball there as well. They won NIL.
It makes sense. He went to a Big East school. There's no football to distract him. He just focused all his energy on college basketball.
And then for you as well, you got lacrosse is good there. I don't know if you really are into lacrosse.
Of course, I paid attention to it this year because we made the national semifinals. Of course, I was going to lock in a little bit and pretend I'm a big lacrosse guy and really pretend like I know what's going on there. But no, look, Syracuse is a basketball school at the end of the day. You ask someone what they know about Syracuse, it's like, oh, didn't Carmelo go there? Like, it's always going to be basketball school.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's always going to be.
I would say legitimately, when I committed, I went to some event, like somewhat recently after I committed, and I told someone I'm going to Syracuse, and it was just this person I knew, and they're like, "Oh, isn't that the school Carmelo went to?"
Yeah.
The basketball has had a really big impact up there, and it's one of my favorite things about the school. I love that we're a basketball school at heart. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think here's my take on basketball. I think for me, it gets ruined by the NBA. I think what the NBA produces kind of ruins what college football is, and what I see in the NFL kind of replicates what I see in college football. That's my take on it. I think that
I actually think the beauty of college basketball is how different it is to the NBA. And I think that's what a lot of people like about college basketball. It's not the same game they play in the NBA.
No, you're right. I'm just worried I'm like, this is what's going to turn into, though. At the end of the day, they're going to turn into the next Shea and flop.
I don't think it is. I don't know, because I was watching the NBA Finals last night, and some of the stuff they're doing, you just don't see coaches promote at the college level at all. The SGA has the chicken wing move he loves to do. Put the elbow in the guy's rib, give it just enough of a nudge that he gets away from you, but not enough that they call a foul. That gets called a foul in college basketball. There's just certain things that have not translated to the college game now, and I don't think will.
I mean, yeah, on that part, yeah, I just still think, I think no matter what happens, NBA is still going to be what the NBA is. Players are going to want to get paid $6 million a year, but then the product of the NBA, this NBA Finals has been the best since 2016. If you think about it, though, the product the NBA is promoting is down to the bottom of its career so far. But what the payout is of the players is surreal. They're getting paid more than any other sport, and all
they make absolute bank in the NBA. Don't get me wrong; the money is in the NBA right now. You could future episode idea. You could do a whole sports economics show about how the NBA has turned its worst ratings into its biggest TV deal ever. That's a whole another thing we can talk about. But I just think that college ball has kept some of the purity that the NBA has lost throughout the years. There's something to be said for the way that the better team in March Madness can just completely lose its mind in 10 minutes and be eliminated from the tournament. Whereas with the NBA, it took, I would still say the Celtics were the best team on paper this year, and it took Jason Tatum's season-ending injury and Kristaps Porzingis developing a mystery illness for them to lose. It took such an extreme circumstance for them to lose. Whereas the best team in college basketball, it just takes a Friday night.
Yeah. It's just, again, it's that March Madness effect, as you were saying. It's just
I see it too in the regular season. I remember when Duke came to Syracuse, they were number 2 in the country at the time. And subconsciously, we all knew we had zero chance to beat them. We all knew we were made up for one. But I tell you what, the dome was still full that night. Because there was still that one tiny percentile of you that says, you know what? This is the night we're going to catch fire. This is the night Duke can't shoot. Then we're going to all run on the court. There's still that love and that warm feeling in college basketball.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been to Syracuse, obviously. I got to ask you for your opinion. Is the Dome, what's the best season for the Dome? What sports season is the best?
What's the best season in the Dome? Oh, well, okay. Well, in football, it's behind the end zone, obviously. Back of the end zone, first like bowl of the dome is unmatched. The energy is incredible. In basketball, we always sit behind one of the baskets in the student section. I actually like the sideline. I like the sideline seat better. I sat there one time. It's so much better. You're so close to them on the side. It's incredible. I would say the sideline seats are like second to none. Like along the side of the court, those first couple rows are so good.
Is that actually my question real quick? Is that through the media or do you have to buy them?
So I didn't get them through the media because I didn't really work a lot of basketball season. I kind of told myself I wanted to get myself at least 1 year of like being a student and just enjoying the games and not being media to them. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna actually go to some basketball games. I'm just gonna have some fun and like not do that. But the sideline seats I had were ones that we showed up to the game early and no one was sitting there. We just kind of walked over and sat there and pretended we belonged there. And it was, it worked out. Wow.
No one stopped you. No, I mean, I hope Syracuse is watching, but
walk with a little confidence and smile, and you can get a lot of places in this world.
There you have it. There's your advice from Harry Kane right there. He's a genius. He's like a prophet right now.
Don't call me a prophet. That's crazy. I am not a prophet.
All right. We'll kind of transition real quick now. Talk about something that I think is very controversial nowadays. NIL, I think it's been a rising issue of the NCAA. Players such as Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, they live in they just live in a realm where they generate millions of dollars. And I think when that happens, it affects other people as well. You're saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I thought you were going to do someone.
Okay. I'm sorry. Repeat that question one time for me.
No, I actually didn't get to the question yet.
Okay.
We're getting there. I was talking about how it just NIL's been a thing because of just what's going on. They're paying players with a lot more. Started with Johnny Manziel, and it turns now to what's the craziness. It feels like with Travis Hunter's career and stuff. So
yeah,
your opinion about that.
It's been a long time in the making.
Yeah, and I wanted to hear what you thought. If you thought the NIL situation was better during Johnny Football's career or during Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter's career.
Well, look, the obvious answer is Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter's career because it's legal now, and it's like required versus with Johnny Manziel, all kinds of shady backroom, handshake agreement between me and you kind of stuff. I think obviously it's a better situation now for the players because they have to get paid. There's no more of this. Well, you're just some guy on the team. Like, I don't care how many people buy a jersey with your number on it. It doesn't matter. Like, now it's you're Kyle McCord, and we sold 20,000 Kyle McCord jerseys this season, and you're going to get at least a cut of those. Like, I think from a fairness perspective, that makes more sense. And obviously it's better for the player, Kyle McCord, to get the money he's earned in the school. And I think it's obviously in a better situation now just because the legal backing is behind it now. And it's no longer this sort of shady backroom business that everyone knows is going on but won't talk about.
I'm gonna ask you another question real quick. You think players should get paid, or do you think they should wait till the pros?
See, like the old school nostalgic old man on the porch in me wants to say they shouldn't get paid because they're technically still in school. But like, if you look at the commitment they have to put in as part of being an athlete for that school, it's an absolute no-brainer to get paid. Like, it's such a no-brainer that they get paid, especially the revenue sports. Like, legitimately made zero sense that the national championship basketball team didn't see any of the prize money from winning the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean I just went out there and dropped 30 and I don't get anything? Like,
Yeah.
that legitimately made zero sense.
Yeah. You know, I think when I look at it, when I was saying like Johnny Manziel versus Shedeur Sanders, I mean Shedeur Sanders is getting Lamborghinis and stuff versus Johnny Manziel is just at like parties and frats and he's just like
Well, I think
living
it's
the life and
hard.
stuff.
I think it's hard to do it on an individual athlete by athlete basis, right? Because every athlete's different. Like if you gave, I'll pick two random examples here. Like if you gave Antonio Brown NIL money, Lord only knows what he would have done with that money. But in my opinion, that's out of our purview. Because at the end of the day, if they've earned the money, they're within their rights to do whatever they want with it. Like, and we don't have to like it. We can judge them for it and say, oh, this guy seems like a diva. Really? You just made 50 grand and the first thing you buy is a chain? Like, you and I can sit here and be like, I wouldn't have done that. But at the end of the day, they're the one who made the 50K. At the end of the day, it's their money. Like, you want to go spend it on a night out, go spend it on a night out.
Yeah. I agree with the spending thing. My thing is, I think players just get too crazy at some point. Like, they just go out of their minds.
Oh, there's going to come a point where the salary cap is going to come in.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. Someone's going to turn
I'm
to that.
I'm certain the salary cap will come in. I don't know when, because I don't know like when the two lines are going to intersect. It's like this is no longer profitable, and we're spending too much money on it. Like I don't know when that's going to happen, but when it does, the salary cap will be the first thing they introduce.
Yeah, there's again, just at some point it's going to intersect. And I think that part of that it really coincides with the transfer portal. So I bet that, but I mean they come hand in hand. Feels like it's like you can't have one without the other. I think that the transfer portal over the years has gotten it's changed so much. So I wanted to see what you think about it. If you think like if a player transfers X amount, they should stop or what?
See, here's my thing with the transfer portal. Like, what makes the transfer portal a really hard issue to work with in general? The transfer portal is a great idea and makes a lot of sense because if a guy is not being used on his current team and there's another coach out there who's watching his game film and watching his practice film and saying, you know what, I got a spot for that guy. That player should always have the right to go play for that coach who believes in him. You know what I mean? Like that should always be the thing. The problem is that there's no regulation on the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And you've got guys like, I forget his name. He used to be at Syracuse and he's on McNeese last year. I forget his name.
Basketball dude?
Huh?
Basketball or football?
Hey, basketball. He was on McNeese's team that beat Clemson. What was his name? I can see his face right now. Quadir Copeland. That's it. Quadir Copeland. He's played 4 years of college ball. He's transferred 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm not saying he shouldn't. Like, if one coach doesn't believe in you, you should be within your right to go play for another coach. But at a certain point, like 3 teams in 4 years, this is like journeyman NBA stuff going on. Like, and in that sense, I just think there's got to be some limit on it. But I think the people who are like, we got to get rid of the transfer portal. You committed to this coach. You got to stay with that coach. That's ridiculous. You committed to that coach who was 18 years old. Like, if that coach at 20 now doesn't believe in you and Coach X at NC State now believes in you, you should be able to go play for Coach X at NC State. Like, but I think it should be a one-time free, second time you wait a year.
All right. That's a bad idea.
That's always been my answer has always been you get one free transfer and then the second time you do it, you got to wait 1 year.
So, here's my question. would it count as a year still, or would they not count it as a playing
It
year?
wouldn't be a year of eligibility.
All right.
But you legitimately cannot play the game for 1 year for any team.
So, all right, but here's another question. Does that mean you're already in the other school in that year, or are you
That's up to you. Like, you can enroll in the school all you want. You just can't be on the team. To me, like that. The answer to me is you just can't be on the team for a year.
yeah.
And I don't
Okay.
think it's. I'm actually going to revise my statement. It should count against your eligibility because otherwise, guys will actually just play until they're 30.
Yeah, that's what I would be worried about too.
Yeah, so you know what? Actually, it should count against your eligibility, but first time free, second time you got to wait.
All right. Yeah, and when I was talking about how it goes with NIL, I feel like people are chasing the money. That's what it is now. Like that's what it's turned into. It's you're transferring for the money.
I think there's some of that, but I think that is a lot less than you would imagine it is. Because when you go down the college basketball like pyramid, when you leave the tippy top in the SEC and the ACC, right? Like when you leave the very tippy top of the pyramid, you start going down to leagues like the Horizon League and the Sun Belt and the ASUN and like those leagues. Guys aren't flip flopping teams in those leagues because there's suddenly a milli five on the table from this other team. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
feel like
no,
a
I
lot of
mean,
those are legitimate sporting reasons. Like, I think I can succeed better at this school, but I also think it kind of goes back to what I was just saying about the money. I think it's none of our business. Like, if if I'm trying to think of someone who's in the portal right now, who I can use as an example, who was in the portal. Lendenborg. Remember the big man, Yaxel Lendenborg? He was on UAB last year. You know what I'm talking about?
I might.
He was in
Lendenborg.
the NBA
Anyway, keep
draft
on going.
process for a while. That is not a big deal if you don't remember. He was at UAB, right? He was at University of Birmingham, Alabama.
All right. Yeah.
Transferred to Michigan.
Oh yeah, I remember this kid. Yeah.
He should be allowed to do that. Whether that's for the reason of I think Michigan's got a better shot of getting in the NBA, or that's for the reason of I like Michigan's coach more than I like UAB's coach, or whether that's for the reason of hey, Michigan's willing to write me a check for $750,000 to go play basketball for them. I don't think it's any of our business why he chose to transfer. Like, I think this all goes back to the idea that we want to be way too in the know about our athletes. Like, it's none of my business why he decides to go to Michigan. It's none of my business why Thomas Schwartz committed to Georgetown last year. It's none of my business why Joey O'Brien's committed to Notre Dame. Like, it's not my business.
That's true. Yeah.
It's these guys' decision, and for whatever reason they made the decision they made. They got to live with that decision, and that's on them.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe we're just getting too. We're intervening too much, as you're saying. Maybe we just gotta just let it play out.
I think a lot of this is a global culture issue. Like social media has made us so connected and so in the know that we're really uncomfortable when we're not in the know. Like we don't like not knowing why.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're not going to know why.
Maybe it's better. Honestly, you're right. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's something that's really I don't know. Yeah, actually, the layout's getting pretty dark in your room. Maybe it's something deeper.
It was getting really dark.
Yeah, I mean now it's already 8:35. I mean you gotta come out of the cave at some point.
The sun's going down. I didn't realize just how dark it was getting, and I couldn't see my face anymore. I was like, oh my god. No, but genuinely, I think it would be better if we knew less about our athletes. It is and this is a professional athlete issue too, but I think it's a little heightened in the college level because a lot of these guys are still kids in many ways, like 20, 21 years old. Like, it is none of my business why this 21-year-old kid decided he wants to go play basketball in Michigan. Good for
Yeah.
him. Go play basketball at Michigan.
Yeah, that's true. Just like you're right. Let the kid do what the kid wants. I mean, it's his decision, not mine. I can't tell where a kid
That's
goes.
why I mean, and and not to like get too deep here. There's also all kinds of things about these kids we don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
what kind of
that's true.
neighborhood Yaxel Lendendorf grew up in. You
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
I don't know what kind of life he's had that's made him the person he is.
Mhm.
I'll never know that. I'm not Yaxel Lendendorf. Like, I think we're really quick to judge athletes on a lot of these things, and we don't know the first thing about them.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's just how it's gonna be, I guess, right?
It's just the unfortunate reality of the world we live in. We love to make judgments and not have all the info.
Yeah, yeah. So I think here's what I would say as well. I don't know if you're thinking about this. I think with the transfer portal, it kind of goes against teams wanting to build a super team because there's already all these players leaving at one school to go to another one. I think because I feel like NCAA is trying to promote that, but the transfer portal kind of kills that. If you see that, if you get what I mean.
But in terms of like building the dream team in college,
Yeah.
like a team like the Fab Five at Michigan back in the '90s,
Hmm.
I think I think part of that has disappeared, but I think part of that is actually coming back because I'm thinking to Malik Brown, who left
Yeah.
Syracuse to go play at Duke, and who knew Cooper Flag was coming, and who knew Kaman Malik was coming, and who knew Con Knipple was coming, and who knew all these really good players were ending up at Duke.
Hmm.
Hightail it out of Syracuse, end up at Duke. Like, and I'm thinking even now to kids committing, like Kion Anthony, knew JJ
Yeah.
Scarlett was coming back, knew Donnie Freeman was coming back, knew Sadir White was committing. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think it's really eliminated that in many ways because I think a lot of guys are going to want to go play with other guys who they know are super talented because it promotes you to be a better player.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's more of a build up thing. It's trying to build up players like to be the best they can in a sense.
Yeah, and I think it's different than like the NBA super team era. Because I'm thinking of like the KD Warriors, where KD couldn't beat the Warriors, so he said, you know what, I'm just going to go be a Warrior. Like,
Hmm.
I don't think it's that kind of a thing. I think it's more of, I'm looking at the guys around me on this roster and saying this roster complements me really well, and I'm going to be a star on this roster, or I'm going to be the best player on this roster. I'm going to take 40 shots a night kind of thing.
Hmm.
I think that's a lot of it in the
Yeah.
decision process.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I'm gonna ask real quick. About Syracuse. They got Kai Anthony coming now. Do you think that I feel like Syracuse basketball's been a while. Like it's been the basketball school, but in recent times it's been like a slower build up. You think next year might be the year the team makes a run in a tournament? What do you think?
I hope it is. I struggle to be too optimistic because I just don't think our coach is that good. I really just don't. I don't think our coach is great. Um, he's an excellent recruiter. I don't know how he lands some of the commitments he does, but like just in terms of X's and O's, I wonder if they're going to be held back by him a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think almost certainly they will be better than they were this year, but that's not that hard. They were pretty bad this year. Um, I do think it's going to be an up year. I don't know how much it's going to be an up year because at the end of the day, we're a young roster again. Kion's a freshman, White's a freshman, Donnie's a sophomore, JJ's a junior. Like, of our four best players, only one of them's an upperclassman. Like,
Yeah.
I
And that's good
do.
though. That's still good though.
Oh, it's a good thing. I'd rather be young than old. But
Yeah.
like, I wonder if some of that is going to plague them. And I'm a little afraid of the Rutgers thing happening.
Oh yeah, that's
where you've got two really, really, really talented freshmen, and the roster around them just isn't good enough.
No, they have there's like role players on a team that like just needs to be more build up.
That's what I'm afraid of, is like they're going to be Rutgers,
and they're going to leave after 1 year.
Yeah, look, I think they're going to leave after 1 year anyway. I think both of them are good enough that they're going to be in the NBA draft next year. But like, I'd like to at least make the tournament in the 1 year I'm going to have them.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the thing with Rutgers too. Like, oh, this team might actually have a legitimate chance of making a run for the tournament, and they were mid. They couldn't get out of the Big Ten.
I didn't even think they made the Big Ten tournament.
I don't know. I'll fact check that, but
I don't think they even made the Big Ten tournament. They were nowhere close to the NCAA tournament. Like,
oh no, no, they absolutely weren't.
They weren't even like on the bubble. It wasn't even like if you win a couple games, you might sneak in. Like they were out by like January.
Yeah, they played sloppy. Honestly, they were. I mean, you want to talk about middle of the pack? I mean, they look like they're just underneath the middle of the pack.
Like they were just, and it's the thing I fear most with Syracuse, and I think it's going to happen to a lot of schools where you can land one or two really talented players, but that roster around them is going to let them down more than likely.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's right.
I think that could very much become a trend in college basketball. I think it happened at Georgetown this year. Thomas Sorber was a top 5 big man in the NCAA. And the roster around him was just not good enough for Georgetown to be anything this year.
That could have been all he wanted, though. He probably just wanted to just play a year and then just leave. He just wanted to get into the league.
Exactly. I'm not in Thomas Sorber's head. I don't know why he made the decision he made. All I'm saying is that roster around him was not good enough for him to do anything, despite him being an elite talent.
I mean, obviously it was your last year as well when we saw the prep play Ryan. You could tell it was just a step ahead of everyone.
Georgetown landed as elite talent, but they couldn't fill the roster around him. I think it's going to become a tale for a lot of college basketball teams. Like I'm trying to think of another good example. St. Joe's was a great example of it. They had Xavier Brown and Eric Reynolds.
Yeah.
How is that team not in the tournament with those 3 guys? Because the role players around them aren't good enough.
And they had. I mean, their big man was all right. I forgot. Was it Okfar?
I'm just saying, like, you've got some elite talent on some small teams who aren't doing anything,
and they struggle against LaSalle.
Yeah, that's why. It's because the rest of the roster just isn't there. It's almost more important to, have 10 4-stars running around the court than 2 5-stars and 8 2-stars. Like, it's almost like it's almost just better to build a balanced roster and load it with star power at this point.
Yeah. I mean,
I think Florida was a perfect. I think Florida and Houston are a perfect example of that in college basketball. Don't get me wrong; they got some elite high-end talent. Walter Clayton was the best guard in college basketball this year, but everyone else around him was just solid and just knew what they were doing.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Everyone knew what they had
Everyone
to
knew
do
their
as
role
well.
on that team. It was Walter Clayton's job to drop 30. It wasn't everyone else's job to drop 30.
They just had to give it to the hot hands, really.
That's just what I mean. Like, really good college basketball rosters at this point are constructed with, maybe one elite talent and then a bunch of just really solid, strong, good players everywhere else.
Mm-hmm. And then the one guy that's great is the center of attention.
Yeah, and the one guy is enough to push everyone up a little bit. Like that's
get that competitiveness going.
That's how you build a championship roster in college basketball now.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say Auburn was like that. I don't know what Broome.
Auburn was a good example of that. Janai Broome was an elite talent in college basketball, and everyone else was good, solid, strong, pushed them forward.
Yeah. That would be that's
I
probably
think
just one as
Houston.
well.
I think Houston was the best example of it. They had what was the point guard name? Uzan, I think it was Milos Uzan,
I think you're
and
correct, but
I think it's Uzan, and he's spectacular. They had LJ Cryer and a
Crier's
bunch of
good.
and they had LJ Cryer, they had Uzan, they had a bunch of really just consistent role players around them. Emmanuel Sharp, Jawan Roberts, Joseph Tugler, like those guys were just consistent. You can get out of them, and it let Cryer and Uzan be the guys.
Yeah.
I think like they're the model of how to build a good college basketball roster at this point.
That's what it seems like teams have gone off of as well, as you said. That's what I mean. That could be what Syracuse is building up right now. Honestly, they could be doing.
I think that's what they're
Houston's
trying to
doing.
do. Like, I think that's like the thought process here is, Cheyenne and Shadir are superstars, and JJ Starling, Donnie Freeman, who else we have coming back? I'm trying to think. William Kyle, Lucas Taylor, like just some consistent role players around them. And
Yeah.
let those two do the work and let everyone else be there to be a steady presence around them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the vision of this roster.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's going to be like. I mean, as a fan, I kind of want to see a great team.
That's just where college basketball is. Like, that's just how you succeed in college basketball now. Straight up. That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, that's how it is now. I guess that's how we're going to have to deal with it.
And that's why we love this sport, isn't it? It only takes one elite talent to win the NBA, to win the NCAA championship.
I guess so. I want to get back to football real quick. I know you probably want to get off here real quick. I know Syracuse lost a lot of guys. They lost Kyle McCord, obviously, so just prep grad. They still had a very solid team, great running back, a very good tight end as well. So, what's the future of the team? What does it look like for you?
I'm a little worried about football this year. I'm just a little worried, and it's not because of anything the program really has done wrong. I just think they had a really, really talented team last year, and I just think it's going to be hard for them to match. What I will say is, and this is really important in all of college sports, they have the right guy at the helm. Fran Brown is an excellent coach. He's so good. It's shocking he was a first-year head coach last year because you could have tricked me into thinking he'd been a head coach for 10 years. Like, he knew what he was doing. He was really, really good. He is really, really good. He's building a culture. He's getting a fit there. I just think this year will be a step back because they just have a little less talent than they had last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still thinking we're 8-4, realistically. I think we're 8-4 at the end. We win our bowl game. We end the year 9-4. Like, that's what I think the kind of level should be for Syracuse this year.
Yeah, I mean, looking at your schedule as well, you have Tennessee. You start off with that's already a tough matchup. You probably easily get a win there. Colgate, you get a win there usually. Clemson will be a tough one.
I'll say our ACC schedule this year is harder than last year. Like, we get Clemson and North Carolina this year, which is tough.
Mm-hmm. You have PCC as well to end the year. Notre Dame's that's going to be your game basically right there.
I think 8-4 might have been a little optimistic now that I'm thinking about it because I can count 4 losses on this schedule. But look, I think the most important part is that they're getting their culture right and they're bringing in guys who are willing to work. They're bringing in guys who are willing to really kind of get down and dirty and play some ugly football. Like at the end of the day, I go to school in Syracuse. It snows all the time. We play some ugly football. We play some rough big man football, and we're getting some guys who are willing to get down and play some big man football, and I think that matters a lot. And you know what? I've learned to not doubt Fran Brown because I was shocked when Kyle McCord committed, but he found a way to do that. So
yeah,
I've learned to trust Fran.
I mean, I guess we just gotta trust, right? Just gotta
Look,
have faith.
I think a lot of sports is just trusting that your roster construction is good, even if you're not sure. You got to just believe. You got to have a little bit of hope, and I got some hope. I like Syracuse football. I like where we're at.
I mean, you can't be that upset right now. Obviously, you still got plenty of college left, so you gotta hope for.
I say I got three
best.
more years minimum. Like I want to be good at least one more time in my Syracuse lifetime.
That's all you can imagine, right? All you can hope for.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, my friend.
Yep. I mean, just enjoy living the life, I guess. I guess as we're closing this episode as well. Any other takes with sports? I mean, we saw Panthers win the Stanley Cup. I think that was expected after they beat Edmonton second to last game.
I'm not surprised by the Panthers. I will tell you, the NBA Finals has shocked me with how good it's been. I was very down on the NBA, especially because of the Sixers. We're not going to talk about them. They don't exist. No, I was a little down on the NBA. They won me over this postseason, especially with these finals. They've been so much fun. Like, they've really kind of brought me back to when I liked the NBA, like in that 2014 era, like right before the Warriors dynasty.
It was
before the Warriors dynasty. Like, I'm thinking to my favorite NBA final of all time, which was the Heat and the Spurs, the second time, when Kawhi took over and like won the championship that year. Like, that, it kind of brought me back to that era of the NBA, which I love. I loved that era of the NBA. And you know what? I like the Phillies. The Phillies make me happy. Go Phils.
They're winning right now, actually. 2-0 over.
Are they?
The Mets.
See, I refuse to pay for Apple TV to watch like 3 Phillies games a year.
I got ESPN.
I won't do it. So I'm kind of just pretending they're not playing today and like not worrying about it.
I mean, this is a big series, though, Harry. This is a huge series.
I'm still a little mad at the Mets for last year.
I was rewatching the highlights of every single game. That Mets team was just Ronald Luck. Their defense was horrible.
That
had like 4 hours.
If they play that series 5 more times, the Phillies wins 4 of them. Like,
easily. They just had to hit the ball. That's it.
It just was weird. But that's baseball. Like that's why I love baseball. Like, because I think back to the 22 Phillies, they had no business being in the World Series.
Yeah.
That team played Matt Vierling on a regular basis. If they had no business in the World Series.
Hey, don't let Matt Vierling disgrace him. I mean, he had one of the best arms in the outfield by far. He had one of the best arms. Yeah, you had to admit, he had a really good arm. He had speed and he had a good arm. He
could throw the ball really hard. Put him on the mound then.
Okay, that's Dombrowski's fault. That's this year's fault. They're not a different team from last year. No one should expect anything different. They've been the same team 3 years in a row. There's nothing different with this team. Absolutely nothing.
There's a few things different. Our bullpen got worse.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It was the same. It's basically the same bullpen of last year. You just had Estevez and Hoffman. Alvarado.
All of our players got older. Hey, you know who's been a good addition, by the way? And I actually said he was going to be a good addition because I've always liked this guy, Max Kepler. I love Max.
I love Max. I've always loved him. I thought it was a good signing. I was like, all right, this guy is going to be your what they wanted Whit Merrifield to be, and what they wanted. What was the other one? Where's the other one?
Whit Merrifield.
Another one we had.
Whit Merrifield broke my heart, dude. I was calling him Wiz Whit. I love
Wiz Whit.
I loved Whit Merrifield. Oh, he broke my heart. Then he sucked. And then he played for the Braves. Oh, he broke.
That was the dagger right there. He played for the Braves.
Oh, Whit Merrifield broke my heart, dude. I still haven't forgiven Whit Merrifield for that. And last thing for me, I don't know if you can tell from the hat. I was at the Club World Cup today.
Talk about it, please.
Excellent event, by the way. FIFA is killing it with this. That was so much fun. I was rooting for Chelsea, and they lost today.
Oh, they lost. Wow.
They lost 3-1 to Flamengo from Brazil. I was not happy about it. But the fans, the atmosphere in that stadium was absolutely incredible.
I've seen it on Instagram. How is it? Yeah.
The Flamengo fans were going absolutely nuts. It was great. It like even though the team I was rooting for lost, I had so much fun. I had so much fun. I'm going back Tuesday. Like it was that great.
Did Chelsea have a good turnout?
Yes, I will say the link today. The attendance was 54,000, and I would say it was about half and half between Flamengo, the Brazilian team, and Chelsea fans. Like it was.
That's actually great. That's really good. That the guy.
And look, I know this event in a lot of ways is a test run for the World Cup next year.
Yeah.
If the World Cup next year comes anywhere close to this, it is going to be a hell of an event.
Yeah, I mean that's something that's gonna be really fun. I mean, as a market chickens, I hope to see how crazy that gets. I hope to see what crazy people have to serve food to.
I love that. I love that in the city. It's giving the city some life. Like I was talking to my
they need it.
I was talking to one of my friends from the prep who lives actually like more in Center City than I do. And he was like, yeah, people have been walking around all week in Flamengo shirts, singing the songs out in the street. Like it's brought such a life to the city that I think is just awesome.
And I mean, you want to talk about crazy next year is going to be. You got the MLB All-Star game as well in the middle of it.
Like it's a really good time to be in Philadelphia.
I hope Terrell Parker does a good job on it as well. I hope that it's all. I mean, 2026 is also like the 250th.
I have faith in the city of Philadelphia that they will get this right because it matters and it's really important that they get this right. Because if we want events like this to come back to the city, we need to get them right.
Yeah, get them right now. Yeah.
Yeah, like and the World Cup, I'm not worried about. FIFA runs a flawless event all the time. Like we can talk about FIFA and its many wrongdoings in this world, but putting on a party is not one of the things they're bad at. They're really good at it.
Yeah.
And the MLB All-Star Game, I think they'll do it right. They'll do it justice, especially because it's such a big year, being the 250th anniversary of the U.S., being back in Philly. Like, they will do it the justice it deserves, and I think it's going to be...
I'm excited for it.
I think this summer's a good time to be in Philly. Next summer's going to be a great time to be in the city of Philly.
Yeah. And I think that's something they want to do now. People are trying to leave the city. This is their action of bringing them in. I love that. I really do. I think it's great.
I love the city, man. Look, after I got back from school this year, I did the Broad Street run, and it reminded me how much I love the city. Like running down Broad Street, seeing everyone out in the street, seeing the city in its glory. Like it made me remember why I love the city, and it was a lot of fun. And I think everyone should be reconnected to the city that way because. We talk a lot of crap about Philadelphia, but it's a pretty great place. It's a really fun place.
You're right. I mean, it is a really good place. All right, but before we end it, real quick, NBA Finals tied up, Game 7. Who are we going with?
Logic tells me the Thunder will win, but I believe in things higher than logic, and I have seen the energy around this Indiana Pacers team. They are going to win Game 7. I am certain of this. They are going to win Game 7. TJ McConnell will be very important to the win. Pascal Siakam Finals MVP to cement his Hall of Fame case.
I've been calling them the Indiana Magic. There's like voodoo stuff going on, and I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't want to start speculating on what they're doing and what kind of magic they have and what kind of. I don't want to get into all that. All I know is you don't play against a team. You don't want to play against a team with that kind of energy. They got that kind of energy. They're going to win.
And you got Hallie on it. I mean, Hallie's the most clutch guy in NBA right now, really. He's been the man.
Yeah, Halliburton supposedly has a calf strain and he plays his best game in the entire playoffs. Okay.
I don't even know what
I know what's going on here.
Hey, even Harry even notices, but I mean, again, it's more than we can ask for as a fan, and I love it. But
exactly. Like again, it reminded me of that old era of the NBA, and it's been so much fun. And I just hope you get a series again like this next year. Like, give me something wild next year too. Hell, give me the Timberwolves and the Knicks next year, NBA Finals.
I would like that. I want something different. I want something fun and different.
I'm really glad we've gotten away from the dynasties.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
was
that's
real sick
something.
of I was real sick of watching the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA Finals.
And the Warriors.
The Warriors didn't bother me as much because Andre Iguodala is a Sixers legend.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
but no, like this is the era of the NBA being a different winner every year in parity is so back and it's so good.
I think we're gonna end it on that note. Again, couldn't thank you enough, Harry. Absolute pleasure. We had some timing issues, but we still got it done. We're glad we got the episode out. And with that, yeah.
Anytime, my friend, you want to invite me back, you know where I am. I'm around. This is a good time. I enjoyed this.
I'm glad. I'm glad you spent the time to talk. And with that, episode 3 of the Not Your Average Sports Show comes to an end. Stay informed for updates and future shows by following my IG account, which is at NYA Sports Show. You can follow Harry with the ticker down below on the screen. But with that, enjoy the rest of the weekend. Stay cool with this heat wave, and thank you.